Hey everyone, just before we get into today's episode, just a quick disclaimer. The episodes are going to be going out slightly out of sync and out of number order. So episode 21, we're still going through the final edits and fine tuning with the guests that we had on for that episode. So that will be coming out in the coming weeks, all being well. A couple of weeks ago, we did a double recording where we did 22 and 23, and we've just switched them round. So 23 is going to be going out now, which coincides with World Autism Awareness. And episode 22 will follow in a week or so's time. So sit back, enjoy the episode coming up. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody, episode 23. And as you can see, we have a stacked full house, full bundle of guests today. So Anna, Chris, welcome back. I know it's only a few minutes since we did the last one, but welcome back. There'll be a few weeks between episodes. And we've also got a couple of other guests. So I'll hand over to yourself first. Harvey, introduce yourself.
So I'm Harvey, I'm 15 and I'm from Manchester.
And Chris is for your sins, your old man.
Sadly.
You lucky devil.
And Jake?
I'm Jacob. I'm from Oldham. Oldham? I suppose we are on the edge of Oldham, aren't we?
Yeah, just in between.
How old are you? 12.
12. Good footballer for 12 from last night. A few goals.
Yeah.
So just to kind of frame the episode and frame why we're all here. So I think it was yourself, Anna, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It came to me a couple of months ago. So this episode will go out on the 2nd of April, which is World Autism Awareness Day, a part of the kind of the framing of the week around raising awareness. And you wanted to kind of see if it was possible to bring Jake on just to kind of talk about autism and the kind of everything that goes with it as a parent, as education and all that kind of stuff. And then Chris, you got wind of the conversation as well, and we talked, and you said that Harvey might be interested in coming on and talking about that as well. So before we start, thank you both so much for coming on. I know it's good because you get out of school for the day and you get a lunch with us as well, but it's really brave coming on and speaking to us, so thank you for that. So I mean, we've done the intros now, so I suppose for you, Chris and Anna, because obviously you're 15, I have,
Yeah.
and Jake, you're 11. At what age? 12. Sorry, 12. At what age did you kind of start seeing signs that something maybe wasn't quite what you were expecting or was going awry?
I think we kind of had an idea quite early on in Harvey's life, but we were probably, as parents, we were naive to it. We hadn't really had to deal with anything like that before. Harvey's number 2 of 3 for us in terms of children. So we'd never really had that, and we'd never had any of that exposure through friends or family as well. So we didn't have any guidance.
I think, to be fair, sorry to interrupt, it's only kind of been in like the last maybe 10 years where this has become like something socially that's talked about.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And so I suppose it was during COVID time where we really discovered that there was maybe not anything wrong with Harvey, but Harvey needed that extra support. He needed that extra, if you will, that extra freedom to be able to get on as a person. So my wife and I fought for his what's known as an EHCP, Educational Healthcare Plan, and he was awarded it under the terms that he's got autism, ADHD, and he's also sensory processing disorder.
Okay, so talk me through what those 3 things mean. Because the idea behind this episode was to raise awareness, because we may have people who work for us that maybe either have autism, maybe undiagnosed, and maybe think, oh, well, they can kind of mirror kind of what we're talking about, or the children have it and they don't feel like they didn't understand what it is, or they don't feel like they can talk to us about it. So it's all about awareness.
So I think the main things from my point of view as a parent is, you are a good parent. There's no way that you can fail your child because they have this stigma. You've just got to support them as best as you can. For the children out there, or for the people who might have it and are still probably undiagnosed. You know, there's no shame in talking about it. People will listen these days. Certainly the hierarchy within Adepts will listen. You know, speak up and speak about it.
I really like how you kind of paraphrased it at the start when you said there's nothing wrong with Harvey. I really like that because there isn't. It's just you need to kind of like adapt how things are.
That's the thing to always remember, isn't it? It's not that there's anything anything wrong, anything that's the matter. It's just a difference. A difference from the, you know.
Harvey processes, obviously there's different forms of autism, there's different grades, there's different levels. Harvey processes things differently. So as his parents, it's our responsibility to support him in that and help him understand them. We don't always get it right. Harvey doesn't always get it right, but then again, who does? So
Absolutely. So I suppose same question with you, Anna.
Similar. So Jake, you were a toddler, I think, when Paul and I were recognising like some of the things that, because Jake is our youngest, so we have Joshua, who's my stepson, Paul's eldest. We have Violet together, and then Jake. So Violet was very, as a girl, she was advanced. She was advanced for her age. She was doing really well, and then there's 20 months between them, and then Jake was like,
We kind of not seeing the symmetry.
Yeah, you should never compare children, but it's very, very. I think you do it. And we were like, is this because he's a boy? People were saying, oh, he's a boy. He'll be behind. You know, boys take longer to learn this, because Jake was a delayed speaker. He was older, but probably
Not anymore.
No, he's making up for it now, aren't you, mate? So yes, toddler two-ish, and we were thinking, is there some differences we need to address? And it was speech for Jake, that he was due to start the preschool class, like the nursery class. So Jake's a September birthday, so it was just before he was 4. So he's like the eldest in your class usually, aren't you? And he still wasn't speaking sentences. He wasn't straight. It was odd words put together. So much so that I remember him going for his nursery induction day, and the class teacher rang me, and he was only there for an hour. She rang me 10 minutes in and said, oh, have you not managed to make it for the induction this morning? I was like, yes, Jacob's there. And she was like, is he? We've just done a register. And we've just done a register. And I said, has he said Jacob out? Like really quick. And then when they've said, is Jacob here? And he's not recognised his own name, and when he was saying Jacob out, Jacob, and they couldn't tell what he was saying to say who he was. But yeah, making up for that now, aren't you, matey? Yeah, it's a speech therapy, and
so when
aren't you?
So when you both kind of in your own respective journeys kind of saw maybe potential signs at the time, did you know what to do, who to speak to? Was like support there available? How was that?
There wasn't.
Was it a case of like speaking to your doctor or something?
It was constantly going to the school, trying to get the school to help us out with it.
School's a key in it, I think. Like for a lot of parents, they don't know that first step to take, and it's. I don't know whether for you, like a lot of parents say, I don't want to put that. You might be thinking, you know, there's something, there's a difference, but you don't want to put that label on. And I think for Paul and I, we were both really keen for, and they say your child will get labelled regardless, especially when they get older, they'll get labelled regardless. And for me, it was a case of, if he's going to have a label, I would like it to be the correct one for him. And so Jake's autistic, he has ADHD. That's that. I would rather that than him. People think, oh, he's disruptive. He's not. He's naughty. He's misbehaving.
I don't know if it was like that for when we were at school, but there was always, you know, like he's just disruptive. He's naughty. He's loud. His voice just wants attention.
Through Jake's like diagnosis journey, and as he's grown, it makes you So they say that when a child's going for an autism diagnosis, the doctors often look into the parents because it is hereditary.
Oh,
So they'll say that often the parents sat across the table, it's coming from somewhere in the line. And it's certainly made Paul and I question. But Paul got labelled as a naughty boy when he was younger. Got pulled out of his classes and sent to the naughty school. And I'm sure he won't mind me saying, yeah, he would say himself now, yeah, I've got ADHD. It ticks all the boxes. He's undiagnosed, but it ticks the boxes. And then yeah. Autism, ADHD, yes, they are separate entities, but there's often very close links.
similarities. Yeah. So, Harvey, did you guys go to like mainstream schools to start with?
Yes, I started off in a mainstream primary, and then went to mainstream high school. Now I'm in a resource provision school
Okay,
with kids just like me.
How do you find that as like a comparison?
Well,
Is it-
mainstream, it's all loud, crowded. Teachers just don't understand how it is for people not people like me, but people with the same stuff. They just don't understand it. So it's all like, yes, we get labelled with disabilities, but they don't know how to take it. They don't know what to say. But now at my new school, there's space for help. I can speak. So it's a bit different.
It's really important.
Is it like smaller classes?
Yeah,
as
so
well?
there's 6 in my class.
Right, okay.
So it's a lot
That's
quieter.
massive, isn't it, Leon?
Yeah, to go from like a class of 30,
30
31
yards, yeah.
to 6. How about yourself, Jake?
Yeah. In my new school, which is Newbridge, it has like 12 people in my class. And like my old class in year 6, there was like 40.
Yeah, you were in a
People.
big primary school
40?
class. Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, it was a big class.
But now it's smaller.
Yeah, so we went to mainstream primary.
Right, okay.
And we were really keen to have. We knew that mainstream high school would be a struggle for Jake, so we were really keen to try and get that lined up in advance, because a similar situation to Lee's, I was like, the problems, high school is so different than primary. It just makes all the struggles so much harder.
It just amplifies it.
Yeah. Even, getting yourself from classroom to classroom, different teacher for each subject, all those things that are just part of high school,
Yeah.
but can make children, who are autistic, it's just
Like
too
an
much.
overload.
Oh, yeah. And we knew that would be the case for Jacob. And
You were saying yesterday it was quite a struggle to get Jacob into the school that he's in.
Yeah, we had to do a bit of appeal settings, and our council do like a mediation setting with the local authority as a first step, and where you as a parent can put your point across for why your child. In the end, we were very lucky for Jacob, because the school which we wanted him to go to opened up an extra class for his year group and for his need. So by chance, very last minute, literally before we were thinking about going out and buying uniforms, we got the space, and it was like, thank goodness.
See, I think that's crazy, because kids should be in a school, a class, an environment that's going to help get the best out of them and give them the best chance. Because school is important.
Yeah,
School is important. It's a foundation for whatever your careers are going to be.
absolutely.
Um,
And a special school setting isn't for everyone. I mean, it's obviously working for our boys. It's not for everyone, and there is some provision in most, I think, all high schools, mainstream high schools. But it's whether there's enough capacity. They can capacity. So many kids have additional needs now, and need that extra little bit of support and help.
yeah.
And just that bit of support and understanding. There's a big gap with education and autism, and
The
I
understanding
think,
of that.
and it's kind of the children who fit in between yes, they need a special school, or can they cope in mainstream,
With a bit of added
Yeah.
support.
and kind of you kind of was a little bit in that middle ground. And obviously yourself, because you went to mainstream at the first, but I don't think many mainstreams are able to. It's not that they don't want to give that support. It's
have the
whether they.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, like from a work point of view, because obviously you guys have been kind of coping with this for 5-6 years or so, roughly.
What?
Yeah, about 5 to 6 years
Having
for
been
us.
in the know of kind of what you need to do to help get the best out of your kids. Obviously, that kind of predates you coming into Adept. How, and I don't want to badmouth any companies or anything like that, 'cause I think there's a big education piece for the country, because we've got things like paternity policies and maternity policies and disabilities at work, but there's nothing really that supports you guys. How did you find like balancing work with home life to make sure that, whether it's Paul at home or whether it's your wife Chris, how did you find kind of work supporting that? Were the kickbacks out?
I think for myself, there was never any kickbacks. By the time Harvey had been diagnosed, I was always in a position with work, whether it be here or my previous employment, where it was kind of like flexible. I didn't really have a start and a finish time. I had to adhere to my hours of work, but could do them over
Whatever period.
Yeah. I think
Quite fortunate position, really, isn't it?
Of course it is. I mean, my wife works from home. She's a childminder, but she looks after upwards of another 5-6 kids during the day. So there was a lot of times where I'd be taking Harvey to appointments or picking up his medication. It's hard sometimes because you've got a dedication to your staff. We have around 207 employees working for Adept. They all want a little bit of you.
Absolutely, yeah.
But then you've also got to make sure that you've got a bit for your family as well.
Of course,
and
yeah.
it's hard to balance that sometimes. That can be the biggest challenge for me, is dealing with the right situations at the right time, be it personal or professional.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because I suppose awareness more than anything, because I mean, you're not exactly going to go around telling every man and his dog about your personal life.
No, I mean, if people ask, we're an open and closed family, really, aren't we? We don't have any secrets or anything. If people ask, then we'll tell them, but it's not really the hi, my name's Chris, I've got an autistic child. You don't start the conversation with that. But there's certainly ways that it leads up to it, and certainly there's a number of employees at Adept that do know the background of Harvey. I speak very highly of Harvey because I think what
Very
he's
proud.
achieved. Yeah. I think what
He's
he's
a doting
achieved.
dad.
Well, he's clearly living out the years that I couldn't live out. So, yeah.
How about yourself, Anna? 'Cause I know you've obviously done various different bits and bobs.
Yeah. So previous employment was so I've been with Adept since last summer, and previous employees were I would not say difficult, but
Maybe lacked empathy.
yeah, and the understanding of that's my priority at home.
course, yeah, of
that's
course.
my priority at home, and if so, Jake. We've been fortunate since September. Jake's been at his new school and everything. It's gone in happy every single day. That was not the case at primary. So there was difficult mornings. There was difficult mornings for him, and therefore that knocked onto me. So then I was
Obviously, Paul's out the door at like 5 o'clock, isn't he?
He's up and gone before we're out of bed. So if we were having a struggle before school, it was that knocks onto me. I'm a crier, so I'll if he's upset, I'm upset. Same for the others. But
I'm sure a lot of parents can resonate with that, though, because you want the best for your kids.
And then you're going into your working day worrying. But maybe my last employers were difficult to get that. That it was it does impact you so much as a parent, and I think we're fortunate at work that everybody there is that extra understanding. I think there's a lot of people who are actually like children with who are requiring a bit of extra care, and there's quite a few of us who are impacted by it, and
absolutely, yeah.
So you feel better knowing that.
Yeah,
yeah,
100%. So coming on to you guys, Harvey, you've kind of decorated the table with some of your achievements. Why don't you talk us through what you've got, and then like what you like to do outside of school,
Not yet.
and what your kind of aspirations are? 'Cause me and your dad were talking about this yesterday on what you're wanting to do. So just talk us through all that, bud.
So this one here is a Scout of the Year award that I won in 2023.
Is that a national?
Not national, just from my group that I was
District.
in.
It's from the
It's like a
region.
district group.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So I got it for all the young leadering that I do. So I help at clubs and beavers on a Monday night, help on the camps for clubs, beavers and scouts, and I do coaching and all on the other side. But this was for the dedication to the group and to the section, and just for going out to all the district competitions and winning them, and just using all the life skills that I've been taught.
That's really cool.
And then this one here was from my old school in 2023 and all. Rugby Player of the Year when I was in year 8 for what I said now. So it was for being a role model to the rest of the squad because I was captain and all. I
Very
led
good.
it. We won a couple of games when we had them. Won a couple of tournaments.
Very good.
So that was for that reason. Then this was Oldham Cup final for my current club, Limehurst. We came second. We lost it, sadly. But tough game. Didn't go our way, but all we can do now is keep trying to win it.
Absolutely, yeah. Is that quite recently, Chris? I seem to remember you talking about a cup final.
This was
My first year.
this was 2023 as well, so it was a good year for
It
Harvey.
was a good year, yeah.
Good year for Harvey on 2023.
This is my most recent one that I'm probably my most proud of. Is my coaching degree for multi-sports. It was through Manchester Active, and last year I done my year 1. Now this year I'm on to my year 2 to get a level 3 in it. It's been a hard journey to get it. Lots of different courses. On the side, I've done my first aid course with them. I'm doing a reffing degree maybe with them and etc. just for rugby.
That's really cool.
So there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing through Manchester Active at the same time, but there's plenty of stuff that I do to keep myself busy with the young leader and with the coaching at Blakely Rangers on a Thursday night.
You're not
With just helping in the community.
That's really good. That's really good. Testament to you as well, Chris. So rugby's obviously a passion. We were talking about this before. So it's league you play, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is the dream to kind of go pro with that at one point?
Hopefully, like obviously I always say that my dream's going to be going to the NRL to play there, but
Australia.
yeah.
Go for it.
That's where the money is in rugby, but most rugby players aren't in it for the money, they're in it for the passion and for the sport. Everyone's playing for the badge, not like half of the footballers.
We'll come on to that in a minute, Jay. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's something that kind of comes across with rugby players. I was at an event where Stevie Ward was talking, and he's retired. He had a brain injury, I think it was, that he retired from, but spoke really well, really passionately, still loves his rugby. But I mean, all that's really cool, and hopefully we'll be watching you on Sky Sports one day. Jake, so what's your passion outside of school?
To play football and
So you came to so we had an Allied Adept 7-a-side game last night, and you came and
all the men. You were
yeah,
playing
you were
with all
playing
the men,
with
weren't you?
literally all men, and you're 12, and you're up against, I think maybe the youngest person there was maybe mid-20s.
Yeah.
Held your own, couple of goals.
Not bothered, are you?
No, you did really well. So you play on a Sunday. What's your team? Who's your team called?
Fairsley United.
That's what position do you play?
I used to be left wing and right wing, but now I'm striker.
Centre forward. So and your team's Man City, isn't it?
What?
Team's Man City.
Oh, who's
So
Paul?
where's that? Because your dad's a big Arsenal fan.
Well, he's a big Arsenal fan, but he's from a family of City fans. Paul's an Arsenal fan because he's awkward.
Yeah, he keeps saying I'm not a sheep.
Not
Oh
sheep.
yeah, he says I'm a shepherd, not a sheep,
Yeah.
doesn't he? But
Yeah. But you got your brother takes you to the games, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You get to go to a lot of City games. Not
yeah,
so good this year, but maybe next year they'll do all right.
You still love going, don't you?
That's good.
Anything sport you love, don't you?
Yeah.
Keep fit and active.
Yeah. Well, you came to the Dragon Boat with us, didn't you, last year in Leeds?
Cheering
So
on from the sidelines.
Yeah.
You can't
Half.
wait till you can do it.
yeah, hopefully we'll try and sneak you in this year. Just slip you in, get your life vest on, and get you in. So, Chris, you talked about the education healthcare plans at the start. That's an alien term to me. What is that? What's involved?
It's a document that protects Harvey or anyone who's got one through higher education into employment at the early stages. Protects them until I think 24 years of age, give or take. It basically tells you about his healthcare plan and what can't go against him. So obviously, like you mentioned, rugby is a big part of Harvey's life. Rugby is what regulates Harvey. If Harvey's having a low mood day or having a difficult day, he'll go and pick a rugby ball up and he'll take himself away. And just throwing that rugby ball about, whether it be to himself or to a mate, that will then regulate him back into this state of being a bit more coherent. And the health plan protects him against employment and higher
It's a
education.
binding document, isn't it? It's a binding document that says to the child, I think it's legally binding document. It's what they're entitled to for that period of their life. What lots goes into it, doesn't it? Lots of the different reports from all the different
Senko
clinician,
departments.
educational psychologists, all sorts of
It
reports.
builds like a profile.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Jake's got on the first page a bit about him that he filled out, and we discuss, and it's reviewed every year. So there's targets, and there's what's to be met by this age or by that year, and they get reviewed every year at school and with the local authority. So yeah, it's important. Not every child who. I think most special schools do require it, but you don't have to have actually a diagnosis to have an EHCP.
Yeah.
But it certainly gives
It's
it
gonna
that,
help.
Yeah.
gonna help.
With Jake was granted his EHCP when he was, I think, 9. He was officially, although, like I said, the ball started rolling when he was a toddler, only officially diagnosed age 8.
All right.
Yeah, it's a long process. But we waited for that to then go for his EHCP because all those reports from all those different professionals all got together as part of building that and what they're entitled to, what they should be receiving in terms of support.
Which is important. That's
Yeah,
good.
definitely.
I think it's really interesting what you said about your rugby being protected. So I can remember I went through a spell when I was in middle school, probably Jake's age, and I went through a bit of a disruptive naughty phase for whatever reason, and I played on the football team at school, and that got taken away. I was devastated. So
for a lot of autistic children, that kind of break from the sitting down learning at school, that they need that to, Jake does, your setting now, you do small spells of lessons, and then there's lots of movement all around the classroom that they're working on tablets, so they're moving up and down. And for Jake, getting outside at break times and lunchtime, it's that bit of, right, I'm ready to now go back to, and take that away as a punishment, which is great. While you've got yours in your EHCP, is that can't be a punishment. They need it. It's
like
a
release, isn't it?
It's like taking away something that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, how do you guys feel now at school? Is it something that you look forward to going to, or how do you guys find it?
Well, now in the morning, I'm actually happy to go to school and ready. I actually want to, because now that I've got a set of staff that I can trust and that is actually there to support me.
They get you. You said that in the card, didn't you? Yeah.
And it's different compared to mainstream. Now they don't take anything off me, so my sports, they still let me do. At mainstream, when I was in year 8 before that diagnosed, they took rugby off me and won't let me do any sports. So obviously impacted me a bit, but now I get to do sports at school. teachers not even react to me if I'm on a high. So it's the teachers actually wanting the best for us. So it's making me a lot happier, and it's helping me get my education that I want and that I need.
I think it's all a knock on for you guys knowing that they're going to a school
Oh,
where
yeah.
the needs are catered, and you can, I'm not saying relax, but you can.
No, it's so important. I know, like I said about how it used to impact my morning and my going to work. If he'd had a worked up morning, knowing he's going in happy every day, it's such a relief. Yeah.
It was a shock for us when Harvey got his first praise from school, because we'd never heard that before.
Never any prayers.
No. It was a lot of negatives in mainstream, but when they phoned up, and it was just something simple as, Harvey welcomed a new student today, or when it was his birthday, they sent home a birthday cake for Harvey. It was almost like a new way of living for him, and
But I suppose now you see in the right education setting and an understanding, like you're thriving, you're doing so much good stuff in the
Absolutely.
community and stuff.
he's excelling in school, whereas before he would be in probably the bottom 5% education wise, through no fault of his own, obviously, as we know, people learn differently. In his new school, he's excelling. He's top of his class for most subjects, not just sport anymore. So he's doing very well.
So I suppose as parents, what advice would you give to anyone watching this who maybe either suspects their children might maybe need a diagnosis or investigation, or themselves maybe think can kind of resonate with what the boys have been saying?
The main thing is don't doubt yourself. Never doubt yourself. If you think it's something there, then reach out to the Senko department within the high school.
Trust in that gut as a parent.
Yeah.
Gut feeling. Yeah, I think you know as a parent.
It starts with the education, so the Senko department, your GP. You can't go direct to the department that's known as CAMS. You get referred to them after so long when you've got a diagnosis, shall we say.
All right, okay. So it can be quite a long journey then.
Oh, yeah.
It's a long process.
Anna said, it's about 3
a very
years.
long process. So my thought would be start the ball
Get on
rolling.
with it.
Yeah. Start the ball rolling. You're not doing your child, and you're not doing anything wrong. In fact, I always feel like you turn your child, if you think there's something and you're choosing to, you kind of doing your child a
Intuition
bit
as
of
a
an
parent.
injustice.
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning, you want your child to get the right support.
Yeah.
And if they're going to, some people say, I don't want them to be labelled. You want it to be right for them.
You want to kind of be able to have an environment where, like the boys are now thriving.
The boys themselves, these two are showing what the difference the right kind of support
The right network around them.
is going to do for them. Yeah.
Oh, that's really good. So I have we've touched on you. Obviously, you wanting to go into rugby at some point. Is it GCSEs that you do at the school now? Is it like an equivalent, or is it the same? Or
Yeah, so after the year 11s leave, I'm doing my functional skills level 1 and 2 for maths, English and science. The equivalent's to a grade 4 for a GCSE. So even if I don't pass my GCSEs next year, I've selected them to get into a college or to get into some sort of education after high school.
cool. Is it college? Because I know they've changed from when I was at school. You could leave at 16.
Yeah, you kind of have to be in some form of education until it's 18 now.
It's like sixth form equivalent or an apprenticeship, isn't it?
something.
Yeah, so I was either looking at going to the College of Rugby in Whitefield or doing some sort of trade apprenticeship or sport apprenticeship.
Oh, very good. That's really cool. And Jake, for you, just carrying on plodding along with school for a few years yet, and then you'll be doing the same stuff, I imagine.
Jake's school is slightly different how they work it. So he'll be at his current building, at his current, campus as such, until he's year 9. When he goes to year 9, he goes to a different building, which is kind of where so at mainstream it'd be when the child makes their choices and for the what they're going to work on for the GCSEs. So Jake goes down and they offer different what they call pathways to follow. So Jake's already got his eye on there's a sports one. So it'll be so he'll do his core subjects and then his other lessons will be based around getting him out and about and fit and
Very
running
good.
around, which obviously suits into the ground, but there's different ones for sciences, IT, performing arts, different pathways for those children to choose. Yes, so, and again, slightly different than Harvey's setting in that, so Jake's not working, he won't be working towards GCSEs by his 16, by the time like you would traditionally leave school. But there'll be options for him to get qualifications to support him. Yeah, his school group that he's in, they support until adulthood. So now he's kind of in the group, he stays with it until he's not needing that support anymore. So hopefully that'll be into employment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the world's becoming a more understanding place. I mean, we've seen it ourselves with the work that we're doing with the Down Syndrome Association, just as a separate segue. But I think that's pretty much all. I mean, my stomach's rumbling like crazy. I'm ready for some lunch. Just again, a big thank you, Jake Harvey, for coming on and speaking openly
Done
about
very
it.
well not to fidget too much.
Um,
Ready for a run.
Absolutely, yeah. Best of luck with your studies over the next couple of years. I hope I'll see you on Sky Sports or playing rugby in the NRL or the Super League. And Chris, Anna, thank you again for coming on and being so candid and
No,
open
thanks
about
for
it.
inviting us.
And we'll wrap it up there, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.